Greetings, Lynette Krause here. I want to share a really cool feature of Airtable that you'll want to learn. We're going to find out about views, why you want to use them, and how to use them to your advantage. Now, as you can see from my desktop, looking at the name, you can see that I've opened my copy of AromaSense. I am over on the Aromatics tab, and I have my Aromatics table opened in Gallery View. You'll find the Views toggle button on the far left. Oop, there it goes. See? Far left of your screen. You can either hover on it, and if you click it, it will stay in place. Now I'm going to leave the Views sidebar visible. And as you can see, I've already created a few views. So why do I want to create views? Well, let's say you're frequently applying and deleting the same filters, or you want to sort a few different ways. Maybe sometimes you just want to see a few fields instead of the whole enchilada. This is where you find the beauty of views. Now let's look at what you can do by looking at a couple of the views that I've created. I frequently need to know safety about essential oils with children. So I created a couple of views to achieve that without having to continually have to put in the same filters and sorts and fields that I want. Kids Safe sorted by age shows me the aromatics sorted by their safe age. As you can see, there's the 2s first, all the way to the 12s. Then we have cautions, and we have dilution guidelines, and always, always, always including the botanical name in anything that I do. Remember that when you are in grid view, we can always go to the far left of the record, see that double-headed arrow with the tooltip expand record, and that will show us the rest of the fields for that specific record. Now notice that this view is a grid view. When you're ready to create your own views, you'll come down to the bottom of the Views sidebar where it says Create, and you'll choose the type of view that you want. Do you want a grid view, a gallery view, or do you want to try any of these other types? Let's create a new gallery view using our safety fields. So I'm going to come down to Create, and I'm going to find Gallery, and I'm going to click Gallery. Now I'm going to name it something other than Gallery 5 because that's not going to help me when I want to see it again. I'm going to say Safety Cards since I already have a safety view. And then who can edit doesn't matter because you're the only one that owns your copy of AromaSense. So any of that is relevant. And then we'll create new view. This opens up our gallery view with the cards, and it shows me every record in the table, and it shows me it picked the first 3 fields just at random. So I'm not sure that that's exactly what I want to see since this is my safety cards view. So I'm going to come up here to the menu bar and I'm going to choose Customize Cards. Now this gives me a drop down to let me choose what are the fields that I want to see on these cards. And since it pertains to safety, I'm going to leave the botanical name. Got to have that. We want to know the safe age. We don't need the therapeutic properties for this, so I'm going to click off of that. And notice, as soon as I deselected that, it changed my cards. So while I'm going through here, I will be able to see in real time exactly what the card is gonna look like when I'm done. So we want cautions and we want dilution guidelines. And I'll click off of that so I can see what it looks like. And now I have every record with just the information that I wanted to see at a glance. Now, if I wanted to narrow this down further, I could also come up here to the menu bar and I could add any type of filter that I wanted for the groups or any other sort. Because right now they're sorted by aromatic name. So if I wanted to change any of that here, I could. And then whatever changes I make are going to be saved in this view. And since this is a gallery view, you can always click on the individual card to see the rest of the data. Let's look at what I've done with the print view. Sometimes you just want to gather records that may be completely unrelated, or you want a subset that may not make sense to anyone else, or even at another time. Well, this happens to me a lot. So I created a new field in my table and I called it print. And I made the field type a checkbox. And if you scroll down here, and I can find it at the very end. Here's my field. And I want to be able to actually see it closer to the name so I don't have to keep scrolling over every time. So I'm going to go ahead and just move my print field so that it is now right after the botanical name. Now I'm going to figure out which ones do I want to see. I'm going to pick, let's pick bergamot mint and bergamot. And let's do lemon and lime and mandarin. Oh, mandarin. So there's my check marks. I did those in my main view because I needed to be able to see that field. My print, I couldn't do it here because this is where the records show up that are only with the check mark print. So now I have a custom grouping that I can see for whatever reason I picked them. Anyway, I mean that's really helpful to me, so I hope it's helpful to you as well. Let's look at how I created one more, and then we'll talk about some specifics as it relates to any view. Let's look at the primary constituent view. For this view, I wanted to see just the chemistry for the oils. So going up to the menu bar, let me grab it. Primary constituent. Okay, so as you can see at the top, I've got 20 fields that are hidden, which means I only wanted to see a couple of them. I can change that by clicking on it, and it will show me what I chose. I've got botanical name, primary constituents, constituent values. Let's say you wanted a whole bunch more, and you don't want to have to go and click through each one individually. Well, then you can do hide all, and nothing's there. Or you can do show all if you wanted to see more and only deselect just a couple that you didn't want to see. I'm going to go ahead and go back to hide all. I'm going to pick the botanical name. I'm going to pick primary chemical family, primary constituents, and constituent values. Now I've got exactly what I wanted to see, only the information as it relates to the chemistry of the oils. Let me show you a couple more things here though. There's my filter, and we can talk about filter in another, and we'll talk about filters in another video. Then there's group. So let's say I've got all of my records here, but maybe I do want to group them by something. I can pick group. I can pick the field that I want to group by. And I'm going to say, let's do botanical family. Let's put all the botanical families together. And then we've got groups by botanical family. I'm going to go ahead and remove the group, but I want to show you one more thing that's really super cool. Sandwiched in here between color and share view, we've got something called row height. And when you have any fields that are long text, this is your friend, because you can either say I want a short, and then you get nothing, one line. We can do medium, which gives us a couple of lines. We can do tall, which gives us a couple more, and extra tall, for as we want to see as much as we can. I know when I discovered that, I was like a revelation. I was so excited. On the menu bar, next to the view name,
right here, you will find a little bitty arrow that is a drop-down arrow. This is a must know because all the additional options you'll find in the drop-down, including print view. I'm going to click print view. Notice I have a few toggles here. Add view name as the title. I could do that, sure. Do I want to include the row numbers? No, not necessary. But wrap long text onto additional lines as needed. Ooh, bingo, that sounds great. So I'm going to select those two, and then I'm going to hit print. Notice it will give you an option to see it before you print it. And that's always really good because you can figure out, okay, is this really what I wanted, or did I want something else? Did I really want landscape? Did I want to do something different? Also, the best thing here is the destination. I can print, save, I can choose save the PDF if I want. Click save, all the other stuff. Cool. Now, one other thing in the print settings, it does say here, create completely custom print layouts with the Page Designer app. Now, I've just started playing with the Page Designer app in the last year, and I'm finding it to be seriously powerful. So if you are either a teacher or a student or anyone who really likes to have your essential oil monographs, this is where the power is for Airtable, because you can create a monograph for your essential oils, for your carriers, for whatever that you want to share that's from your AromaSense table. You can create a custom app, a custom view that will be exactly the way you designed it, which is also pretty cool. I'm actually going to do a completely separate video on the Page Designer app because it's such a powerful tool for AromaSense. Also notice that what we've been doing is we've been working with views of the aromatics table. Views can be created for any of your tables in AromaSense. So this is my introduction to views and the power that they offer. You can look at the show notes because I'm going to add some additional links to relevant articles that will dive a bit deeper into views. This was just your introduction, and I hope this has been helpful.